It's 5 minutes after 7, which means we're ready to start a 7 o'clock event in Kaslo. Can everybody hear me okay? David, you're solid back there? Good. Thank you for coming, everybody. We are 4 or 5 days away from a municipal election, which includes everybody who is on stage here. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. My name is John Kaslo. I've been asked to moderate this evening. I'm going to keep my comments very, very brief so we can hear from the people who are on stage who are essentially at a job interview right now and hoping to earn your trust. What I'm going to do is lay out a little bit about what the rules are for tonight, which are, we're light on rules. We're going to give the candidates 1 minute to introduce themselves. What they believe in, what they're standing for, what they hope to achieve. And then we're going to invite questions from everybody. And when I say everybody, those come essentially in 3 forms. People who want to step up to the mic. I have, and I've only received them 10 minutes ago, about 25 questions from students from this school. And for those of you who are interested, most of them come from the grade 4 or 5 class. So that's the second way. The third way, if you want to write down a question because you don't want to stand up to the mic, I will read your question. But if you come to the second and third, in other words, you're in the school list or you pass me your question, I can't guarantee I'm going to read it because we may have too many questions coming from the floor. You people have shown up. Democracy, as we all know, is about who shows up. I'm going to give everybody here 30 seconds to respond to a question. And we're not going to spend the whole night just going back and forth and giving everybody an opportunity to respond. I'm going to ask you, if you're asking a question, who are you asking it to? And then it'll be my job, based on body language and, quite frankly, your behavior on previous questions, to respond to that. I would love to see us get some dialogue going here. And I don't mean in a feisty, negative way, but if there's an issue that comes up, it's going to be my job to try and bring us to the point where we get some different opinions or different perspectives or different ideas on what these candidates will be doing. So, in other words, we're sort of running through broken ground and trying to make the best of a live situation. I will do my best. I will encourage each of you, 30 seconds is 30 seconds. If you're feeling like it takes 45 minutes to really get into that answer, I'm going to be really polite the first time. And then the second time I may demonstrate some obvious body language, and there may not be a third time. This is a job interview. Part of what you need to do, and for those of you who have done it before, you need to be able to think on your feet. You need to be able to incorporate complex information as it comes to you and make decisions going forward. And that's part of, hopefully, what we can do right here is create an environment where we've got some dialogue. I'm going to demand respect in the entire room for each other. We're not going to make this about each other. This is about the ideas and the issues in front of us. Any questions about why we're here or what we hope to achieve? And if you have a question, just step to the mic, because that's how we've decided we're going to do it. It's interesting, you know, like we've been doing this, 2,500 years, this democratic process. And here we are in Kaslo on a Tuesday night. So thank you, everybody, for coming, and thank you, most of all, to all of the candidates. And I'm going to start at one end and give everybody a minute to introduce yourselves and tell people why you should be the person that they should walk into a very closed space with a list of names and an X opportunity beside it and put that X there. And Molly, I'll start with you. There's a microphone on each side. Hopefully those are working. After these introductions, we'll open it up to questions.
Thank you. Last week I was last almost every time, so I feel pretty privileged this time. Anyway, I'm Molly Leithwood. I've lived in Kaslo almost all my life. I raised my children here.
Louder.
Dan's going to work the mic. Thank you, Dan.
Okay. You know, my parents are from Kaslo. My dad was a counselor for years as well. I was a previous counselor for 12 years. I took some time out to work on my master's, but now I feel like I want to get back into community and working for the community. And one of my strengths is that I'm a really good listener. I want to listen to what people have to say, engage them in our dialogue, and help them understand our decisions. Thank you.
Thank you, Molly.
Yeah, my name is Rob Lang. I'm seeking election for the third time. This would be my third term if I was re-elected. I think my feeling is that we're so fortunate. We have so much to be grateful for living in this community. There's so much positive energy in this town. You look at the work of our nonprofits and all across the board and all the different facets, Cooney Lake Historical Society, Trail Builders, Golf Course Arena. I mean, we are so blessed to have these people devoting all their time for next to nothing. Sometimes I feel that being on council is a little bit like that too, that we're devoting a lot of time for next to nothing, but it is a privilege to be on council. I feel like we've accomplished a lot in the last 4 years, and there's still a lot more to do. So, like I say, I would really be honored to be re-elected.
Thank you, Rob. Henry.
Hello, I'm Henry Van Mil. I moved here with my wife Linda 15 years ago. We fell in love with this place, and about a year ago, I took the chance to become part of the council, and I did get voted in, what I appreciated. There is a lot to do. I came on board and I felt quite accepted, and over the year we were working like a team, and I really think we have a good thing going. There's a lot more going on to do. There's some very big projects that we have to take care of, and things does not go overnight. I found that out in a hurry. There's a lot of paperwork, bookwork, and regulations and stuff, but I'm going to do my best to look after the community as a whole. I might not please everybody, but you know, it doesn't help, it doesn't work that way, that is how it is, so I hope you vote again. Thanks.
Thank you, Henry. Susan.
Hi, I'm Susan Hewitt. I'm a longtime Kaslo resident, and I was first elected to council in 2005. John referred to this as a job interview. I don't see it as a job. I see it as giving back to the community that I love. And I want to continue to give back, and hope that you would consider re-electing me as your mayor. I feel that, as others have mentioned, that we've worked well together as a council, and we've accomplished a lot. We may not always make the decisions that everybody's happy with. You know, you can't please 100% of the people 100% of the time, but we try. We listen, we get the information that's required to make sound decisions that are in the best interest of the community as a whole. So thank you for listening, and thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you, Susan.
Pat. Thank you. Yeah, my name's Pat Mapp. I'm running for mayor. So I say, are we ready? You know, running a town is all about roads, water lines, sewer. You know, my background, I've got the experience to manage that sort of stuff. So I feel comfortable to deal with that. But I think what also can affect the town is outside influences that could force us to change. Ainsworth and Retallick and now Zinkton are all proposing outdoor adventure. And Zinkton is talking about putting ski lifts in. This will affect Kaslo because we'll end up with jobs and construction and increase in population. I'm neutral on this because I benefit either way. If this outdoor adventure tourism occurs, my real estate will go up in value, so I would do okay. But if it doesn't occur, we have the lifestyle that I like, and we have, and it'll be a quiet lifestyle. But I think I'm able to manage for change if it was to occur. Some of the changes would be in Kaslo Bay, and then if we get some development there, we'll have more doctors because the population will increase, we'll have jobs, and we'll have some other issues like the helipad. For if we get a Fort McMurray style of fire here, I'd be worried about that. So I like to do some fire protection. Anyways, my minute's up.
Thank you, Pat. You guys all did really well timing-wise. I'm just going to reinforce that behavior. Please.
I'm Michael Halliday. You should have one of my letters on each of your chairs that gives my background, gives some of the reasons I'm running. It took our family a couple of years to move here. We had to wrap things up and then come up here. I look at Kaslo as a diamond. And like a diamond, you have to slowly cut it to bring out its true value. You don't take a sledgehammer to it. And I'm just a little uncomfortable. I think this is the approach is the sledgehammer approach. I've got some solutions for housing, which concerns all of us, I think. We're all concerned about that. I've been looking at some new innovations that have come out from other nonprofits, and I'm really impressed with them. I want to be able to have council meetings with you, like an actual meeting where you can approach, almost like office hours. I want to have a round table, coffee sessions with people so that if you have any concerns, you can come forward. This is a job interview. You are the boss, or it wouldn't be a job interview. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Kelly.
Well, hi, everyone. I'm Kelly Noel. I think I know most of you in here. Like many of you, I enjoy the outdoors. I like to ski, hike, fish. I take my pride in this town very seriously. I'm raising four children here. A couple of things I'm involved in with council right now. I sit in the Select Health Committee. I sit as a chair on the Recreation Commission. I'm on the Liquid Waste Management Advisory Committee? Yeah, Steering Committee. I'm also sit on the board of directors for Kaslo Outdoor Rec and Trail Society. I sit on the board of the Kaslo Youth Network, and I'm also the president of the Kaslo Jazz Festival. What can I say? I like this job. It's taken me, honestly, 2.5 years or maybe more to get the hang of this job. It's quite involved. There's a lot to learn. But as I've learned it, I found I actually quite like it, and I think I'm pretty good. My forte is networking. I like to talk to people. I make a point of knowing at least 5 ministers at every meeting by name by the end of the week. That's my forte, and I also want to take this moment to thank Mayor Hewitt and Councillor Rob Lang for being fantastic mentors for me and being really patient with me in this learning curve. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kelly. I will acknowledge it's hard to cut off somebody who's so grateful for somebody else. Jonathan.
Thank you, John. Unlike Kelly, I'm not going to stand because then you'd all see the shaking and that wouldn't be pretty for any of us. It was about 8.5 years ago that I came to Kaslo for the first time. Almost 5 years ago now that I moved here. I fell in love with it at first sight and knew that this is where I wanted to be, where I wanted to live, retire, and die. And I still do. What I see is one of the things needing in this community is engagement and involvement. I feel that we need to involve the community from the beginning of the process to the very end of the process, because only by having them involved from the start will they actually have a vested interest in the result. That's why I'm so for quarterly town hall meetings. I'm for newsletters from council that are coming out in mail, not just on Facebook. Communication both ways is what's going to make this community survive and ultimately thrive.
Thank you, Jonathan. Jeffrey.
Hi, I'm Jeffrey. Hopefully, at least some of you know me here. So when I first moved here a while back, it seems like a perfect place. It's amazing scenery, amazing people. And the main thing for me is I'd like to see all the amazing people here. I'd like them to feel that they're being listened to, and I'd like them to feel that they're informed. So my main goal if I'm elected is to make sure that on all the important subjects that are so important to this town, everyone feels like they've been given all the facts and that they've gotten that they're allowed to choose and figure out what they would like to happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Andy.
My name is Andy Shadrack. I'm running for mayor. I want to begin tonight by thanking all those people who've encouraged me and supported me in my bid, especially those who invited me into their homes to explain their issues, concerns, fears and hopes. If you elect me on October 20th, I will be a full-time mayor. I will have regular office hours, and I will encourage council to create a working group on housing and accommodation. I will work with councillor colleagues and staff to create a 4-year plan based on a clear set of priorities. I want to encourage council to bring that plan to the community before adoption of the 2019 budget, including seeking community approval under Section 83 of the Community Charter. And then, in the fall, I want to come back to the community to look at the progress we've made in the first year, and then talk about setting clear priorities for 2020. I thank you for all coming out tonight, and I thank the Chamber, and I look forward to answering your questions.
Very good. 3 mayoral candidates, 7 candidates for council. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate your willingness to put your name on the ballot and to come tonight. I'm going to start inviting questions from the crowd. I am going to start by reading one of the students' questions. There's 24 questions that arrived here from students. The very first question, and I will let somebody put up their hand. Why is there no mention of youth in your platform? So 30-second question, and then 30 seconds to a minute to answer the question, and I'm going to be looking to the others on who wants to respond. Kelly.
You're right, I don't have youth mentioned in my platform, but as I mentioned earlier, I do sit on the Kaslo and Up the Lake Youth Network, Coolin. I'm on the board there, help distribute our funding that we get from CBT. We have a very strong group there. We just recently purchased a van that's being rented out by the school and different groups to do different excursions around town. What can I say? The youth are the future of our town. We've got to put more time into them, and I think this youth group is doing a fantastic job.
Thank you, Kelly. Anybody like to respond or present their own positions? Let's go with Pat, and I saw Molly, and then we'll come to Jeffrey.
Yeah, the reason why I'm running for council is I like infrastructure and I like big projects, and if these big projects, carry on, then there's employment for the youth, and then hopefully housing for them as well. So, I mean, if I wanted to be involved with the youth, I would have run as a school trustee.
Thank you, Pat. I will put in a word for Don Lang, who's here, and if you want to learn about what a school trustee does, thank you, Don, for coming. I don't see Don right here. Thank you, Don, for coming. I appreciate you coming. Molly.
One of the reasons that I ran for council initially was youth was actually the reason I ran, because I wanted my children to get certain things in our community. And one of the things that we accomplished during my term, Councillor Hewitt at the time, was the Kaslo skate park in its current location. So I believe that was one of my best accomplishments, because that was a very contentious issue. I have actually recently invited the youth. I invited them down to Teresa's Sandwich Shop to come and talk to me about their issues, and I didn't actually put that in my my platform, but it is my job, so that is what I am definitely attached to as youth.
Thank you, Molly. Jeffrey, I believe you're next, and then we'll move on to the next question, which might be an opportunity for people to move to the microphone.
So about 2 years ago, actually, I posted on the Kaslo web looking to see if any youth in town felt like, hanging out, having their fight, whatever youth in this town feel like doing. And so I'm the kind of person who enjoys being outside, enjoys playing games with other people, generally just being around other people my age or older. So whether I'm elected or not, I'll definitely be trying that again, because I haven't had too much luck actually finding anyone to do that sort of thing with, but I'll definitely be trying again.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Thank you for coming to the mic. I'll ask you to introduce yourself and then try and keep your questions to 30 seconds.
Okay.
And if you want to direct your question to one candidate, please do, but then I'll invite others.
Hello, everybody. My name is John Edison, and I am asking a question on behalf of the Kaslo Area Chamber of Commerce. So I'm just going to give a little bit of preamble to the question. It'll only take me a very short time. So, excuse me, I'll have to wear my glasses. Given the fact that Integrated Community Sustainable Plan has been adopted by Council and its primary strategic guide for decision making, there were three most important things that were identified as to what Kaslo needs to do to become sustainable. The strategy is built upon the community values. One of the most important things that was identified in order for Kaslo to become a sustainable community is explore new economic drivers and encourage small business. So my question is to everyone, name one new economic driver you would bring to Council.
So you're inviting everyone. I'll look to somebody who hasn't answered a question already to put their hand up first, and we'll take it from there. We'll go with Andy and then Rob.
Development of alternative energy. Utilizing the water system of the village to generate energy. And on my table, you'll see a proposed contract from West Kootenay Power from 1994. We were offered a contract by West Kootenay Power in 1994. 24 years ago, for 24 years, we could have been offsetting the cost of our own electricity. Go and look at the documents. There's 10 of them there. That's something I want to put on the table.
Thank you, Andy. Rob.
I think there's a few key ingredients to make Kaslo a business-friendly community. And one of them is our tax structure, and our taxes are below average for the province, and I think that's critical. Secondly, I think that our main job as being on council is to provide infrastructure and make sure that our roads, our sidewalks, our parks, our beaches are all in excellent condition. That encourages people when they come to town to say, yeah, this is a great community, I'd like to set up shop here. So I think those are two key fundamentals that the council can focus on to create a business-friendly environment.
Thank you, Rob. Anybody else? Kelly.
We got into this a little bit in the last forum. I said it before, tourism is the backbone of the economy in the West Kootenays. It's important that we embrace that. It's also important, though, and I think what the question is leading to is that we create some diversity around that. We talked about Kaslo Implement